Welcome back to the second half of Newsbreak Live, and joining me is director from the Western Museum of Flight, Cynthia Maka. How are you tonight?
I'm great, thank you.
Thank you for stopping by and being on Newsbreak Live. And we're going to first start off by talking about the hidden gem, the Western Museum of Flight. Many people may not know that it even exists in Torrance. So talk to me about the mission.
Well, the mission is really to make available the aerospace industry legacy of Southern California and its roots here. I don't think people remember it's quickly become homogenized. So like North American aviation is now under Boeing. So we want to tell that story about the visionaries and luminaries who made the industry great and made the economy great here in Southern California.
And for people who don't know, the Western Museum of Flight is located at the Torrance Airport, and there's no better place, I would say, for this museum to be, since there's so much happening in aerospace right here in Torrance and across the South Bay. So tell me about that and the tie that people make when they stop by the museum.
Well, I think when they enter, they're going to see artifacts and aircraft from the aerospace industry, airplanes that were built here in Southern California. So like the F-86 Saberjet, North American, a Korean War hero, the F-5A Freedom Fighter from Northrop, which is now Northrop Grumman. And you can sit in the cockpit, and it's fully loaded, complete aircraft, and the artifacts that accent each of the aircraft. So it's like a step back in time, but also a view to the future of the march of technology and innovation in the industry.
I want to talk more about the exhibits that continuously stop through the museum, because even though there are some that are always there, we have B-12 bombers and great aircrafts that literally are from World War II that make a stop in Torrance. But talk to me about how long this nonprofit institution, which is what it is, has been around for.
Well, we were originally inspired by Northrop Company when we were in Hawthorne and when Northrop Company was in Hawthorne. So our roots were there with the foundation, and I think it's probably been about 30 years. We made a nice soft landing here at Torrance Airport when we lost our lease at Hawthorne Airport. So we've been here about 12 years.
You did just talk to me a little bit about what people can expect when they visit. Is there anything you'd like to add to some of the aircrafts and exhibits that are available right now? What's yet to come? And maybe something about the Collings Foundation and their stop in Torrance yearly.
So every year the Collings Foundation comes by in April, and we're part of that with the B-17, B-25, B-24. They brought in a Skyraider last year and their Mustang. We also participate in the Armed Forces Day Parade. I harvest the pilots and warbirds to fly over the parade. And then we're working in conjunction with the Palos Verdes Concorde et Elegance for vintage cars and vintage aircraft.
And I want to talk about that event because it is coming up, and it's the second year this great event is happening at the Torrance Airport, and it's allowing these vintage aircrafts to be able to be displayed. Usually they aren't. So can you give people a sneak peek about it, because tickets are on sale right now?
Right. We're going to be bringing in a P-38 Lightning, a very rare airplane. And also General Lyon of the Lyon Air Museum in Orange County, his beautiful C-47. And then we have a wide variety of aircraft, some from our collection and some from the local pilots of general aviation aircraft.
And the great part is people can become members of the museum. So I'll give you a chance to talk about the perks of becoming a member and how they can participate in some great events.
Sure. For $60 a year, you and a guest can visit the museum as many times as you like, and then attend our monthly celebrity lectures, which feature prominent aerospace industry visionaries, luminaries, and those who have served in the military as well.
How do you find the celebrity speakers to come to the Torrance, to the Western Museum of Flight Museum, excuse me?
Well, I made friends with a lot of the Northrop test pilots when I worked for Northrop Grumman. And so through the Society of Experimental Test Pilots, that's kind of a great resource. But a lot of times people will recommend someone, and I also do some research to find out about people.
Okay, and there's one that's coming up, so would you like to tell us about it?
Okay, Lieutenant Commander Hot Rod Kurtz. I love those call signs. He's an F-18 pilot. He had 2 tours in a Rocky Freedom.
Wow.
He's going to talk about that, and also a post-Navy career, flying as an adversary pilot in a Hawker Hunter and his ejection. So
This lecture is one of many events that helps youth, adults learn more about history and aerospace. So talk to me about that and how it ties in with the mission.
Well, it ties in with the mission because once again, I don't think people remember everything that transpired here in Southern California that made it great and how it affected the economy. But also, it instills in people, I think, a certain reverence for those who made such great strides in technology, like the Jack Northrops and the Flying Wing. I mean, that's one that's dear to my heart. So I think that's a great tie-in. And many of our members are aerospace industry, active employees and retirees.
That's wonderful. And there's another program that the museum participates in that you didn't mention, Beyond the Bell. Is that something you can talk to us about? Because I know
Yes.
the museum has been a very big supporter of STEM students from not only the Torrance Unified School Districts, but across Los Angeles County.
Yeah, we have a program called CLASS, Kids Love Aviation Science, and we've been working with LA Unified, especially every summer, for Title I schools. And so from Los Angeles, we bring the children. Sometimes we actually pay for the buses through grant money. But we have a 2-hour rotational tour where we break the kids into smaller groups. They get to sit in a supersonic jet cockpit. They get to explore general aviation cockpit. They learn about space and satellites. They learn some of the history of Lomita Flight Strip. And at the end of the program, we present them with a model, thanks to Boeing, so that they can take home their own F-18 model and build it. So that's a great perk. And it's a lot of fun. It's just good for everyone.
Talk to me about where the Western Museum flight is located for viewers who don't know where it is at the Torrance Airport.
To make it easy, we're very close to the control tower and the General Aviation Center, and across the street from the Mercedes-Benz dealership, if that helps.
Great. And people can just visit, right? So the visit is just like a donation. Is that what you guys call it?
It's a requested donation of $5, and we're open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 3.
Wonderful. Cynthia, tell me a little bit more about some of the great events that are coming up. Anything you can tell us a little bit about what you're hoping for the future of this museum?
Well, for the future of the museum, I'd like to see us be able to build a building to have a themed exhibition hall called California Wings, which would talk about the visionaries, the economy, the innovation in technology, and then the principles of flight, so children will have a better understanding of what they need to learn in school to prepare academically to join this industry. And one of the great things we've done, we're working on an exhibit thanks to the Norris Foundation of Women in Aerospace. And this is a real eye-opener for young girls to see the things that are available to them in the future.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk a little bit more. I know you mentioned some of the great aircrafts that are on display, and you told me about a lot of them. But in this day and age, the unmanned drones that you guys have, right?
Yeah, we have some UAVs from Radioplane Corporation, Ventura, which was part of Northrop. That's the early drone. I think the plane that most people come to see is a YF-23. It was Northrop's entry. It lost out to the F-22 Raptor built by Lockheed, but it was so stealthy, so fast without afterburner, very low observable cross-section. The beaver tail made it very maneuverable. It's just a beautiful airplane. People from all over the world come to see that airplane, of which there's only 2 since it's a prototype.
And I know in the past, a lot of the airplanes that called their home the Western Museum of Flight, sometimes they're even refurbished and taken care of at the museum. So tell me, what does it take to keep these aircrafts beautiful?
Manpower. And once we finish refurbishing and restoring one, we're ready to go on to the next. So we are looking for restoration volunteers, which is a specific skill in metalworking and then the painting aspect. But yes, because we have also the forerunner to the F-18, the YF-17, and there's only 2 of those prototypes that's currently ready for paint. So, and that'll be on display at the Concours d'Elegance.
Wonderful. Is there anything else you'd like to add about the Concorde that's coming up in September?
Oh, I think it's a great opportunity for families to come out and see. They'll get to board our F-5A Freedom Fighter and sit in the cockpit.
That's amazing.
They'll get to learn about, well, we're bringing out the Harrier as well, which is on loan from the California Science Center. That's one of our colleagues. We also have their T-38 Talon. We're bringing out our A-4 Skyhawk, so that's part of the Douglas legacy. So it's going to be neat, especially you'll see some beautiful warbirds like Darren Moore's beautiful P-51 Mustang.
Great. Yeah, a lot of vintage cars there as well, so it's going to be a great event. Thank you so much for your time. Is there anything else you'd like to add about the Western Museum of Flight?
I'd love for you to come by. I'd love for you to become a member, learn more about our programs. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Cynthia. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Well, that does it for Newsbreak Live. If you ever have news or video that you'd like to share, please email us at newsbreak@torranceca.gov. And if you missed any part of the show, you can catch it all on Torrance City Cable's YouTube page. Have a great night.